We good? Hot ice, Thursday, July 14th. I would be an unhealthy scratch in the lineup today due to a neck issue.
Oh,
Ask Ev.
pinch nerve?
Somehow, it's something bad. I slept on a twin bed out in the Hamptons 2 nights ago, and then walked up to a putt, and it was like I got stabbed in the neck. I was popping Advils like they were M&Ms to get through it. So tough day for your boy. But we're gonna power through. That's what you do when you're in a lineup of hitters. Guys push each other. So that's what we're doing. Also, don't say the hot ice crew is not close knit. I got Carl text me the other night. Love the show. Love you, man. I'm driving Ev. I'm adding 3 hours to my trip to drive Ev door to door. He makes me get out like a fucking chauffeur, open the door for him, Carl. I had to walk in, push the elevator, take him up to his apartment. It's tough, man. But we're tight knit. That's what you do.
If it wasn't for the neck, he would have been piggybacking me. He would have carried me.
Exactly. That's how it goes.
Yeah, it's a tight crew. It's a virtual show, but it's a tight crew. And just keep your eyes peeled, because when the 3 Hot Ice Boys get together for a live show, that's where the magic really is going to pop. But, boys, it's a great Thursday. I'm excited to see you guys. This is our last Hot Ice before we get to the All-Star break. And I very much hope we have an opportunity to run it back Tuesday morning for some action on the All-Star game. If not, I understand completely.
We'll look at.
I would love to.
Yeah, we'll look at MVPs. We'll have definitely a ton of stuff going. The fun thing is when we do get all together, we're in 3 different rooms anyway. That's the way the fucking internet goes. So that's always fun. The first half is kind of flown. That's to your point, Carl. It's like we've done a lot of these shows. I know you do them 2 times a week, but it's the first half is already here, man. It's like baseball's a long season, but it's already moving, so it's crazy. 2 quick headlines that kind of tie in. So, power rankings come out on ESPN. Only 3 AL teams in the top 10. Yankees and Astros, so 1, 2. Dodgers, Mets, Braves, Padres, which is a little bit of a stretch if you ask me. Red Sox, Brewers, Phillies, and Cardinals. Off the top of my head, I want to make sure I'm doing this right. We had the Braves last year. We had the Dodgers into COVID in 2020. And we had the Nats in 2019.
Yep.
18 was who? The Astros?
Yeah, Astros or Red Sox.
All right, so 3 in a row for the NL. Is this another – we talk about the NL being a little bit deeper than the A. Is this another NL year? Do we think the NL is hoisting another trophy? Carl.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because to me this is a little bit different than before, where like – the top teams to me would be like, well, you have the Dodgers are obviously like a wagon and stuff, but to me it's flip-flop. Now, I clearly think the Astros and the Yankees are the best teams, but the depth in the National League, the starting pitching's better. All those teams you listed have stud starting pitching. Even the Phillies at the back end with Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler at the top have a monster season. So, like, to me, if we're power ranking the stuff, you say the Padres get a ton of credit and deserve a ton of credit for playing in the NL West and just grinding through that the same way these teams in the AL East deserve some credit. But it is a little suspicious. The Blue Jays should be better than they are. And if I'm a betting man, the next time they issue these power rankings, if I'm an Orioles fan too.
Yeah, I think they were low. I think they were like 17.
It's crazy. Ev, what do you think about this power ranking stuff? Are you just happy the Yankees are first?
Yeah, I don't really care about the power ranking stuff because it's just like,
well, it's like
the polls in football. Like, it don't really mean much. I agree with the sentiment where I think it's – correct me if I'm wrong or if you guys disagree. I feel like this year at the top, the league is deeper than it has been the last – like, I feel like there's a lot of, like, really good – like, you obviously talking about the Yankees, the Astros, the Dodgers, the Braves. Like, I feel like this is a year where if you just saw how good the Yankees and Astros are and they were to find themselves playing in the ALCS, you'd be like, oh, God, like, the winner, that's winning the World Series. But, I mean, when you have – like you brought up, like, the depth of the pitching that the Dodgers have, how good the Braves have been. Like, you can't say that. It's not a sure thing that winner of that series is just going to go waltz their way through the World Series. You got some really good teams coming on the other side. So I feel like it's kind of deeper at the top. Like, I feel like which baseball is good about that, like, in terms of, I think, compared to some other sports, like NBA or something like that, like basketball, where I think there's always a ton of parity. We just talk about, like, different teams have won it the last, however many years. But I think there's a lot of really, really good teams this year. And really what's going to, I think, separate things is what we see at the deadline. Like, we saw the Braves last year. I mean, that was what got them over the top. They made key signings, and those key signings showed up when it mattered. The Soler, Rosario. Like those guys came through in big moments. And I think a lot of these teams, even though we've seen like the Dodgers make big moves, like going out to Scherzer and fucking Trey Turner in one trade, I think obviously the Yankees are going to be a team that's hunting. Like the Dodgers, I mean, they're never sitting their hands. They're going to go after guys. I'm sure the Braves are going to make a run again. And I'm sure even the Astros will too. So, I mean, I think that's going to be the big separator in what happens over the next few months is like how aggressive these teams get at the All-Star break. I was disappointed this morning, got some news about apparently the Yankees are kind of out on Benintendi now because he's unvaccinated, a potential series in Toronto, which I understand that you just can't make a big move like that and risk a ton of guys. Who knows what's going to happen with the Blue Jays in the second half. All of a sudden you got a big ALDS series in Toronto and you're starting outfielder that's batting 300 right now or close to it, I believe. I mean, all of a sudden he can't go up there and play. Yeah. So that's kind of throw a wrench in that, but I think just how aggressive these teams are at the trade deadline is going to be like the separator.
To your point too, like the top teams are super teams. I also think there's a few lurkers, like to remind me of the Braves last year. So like, what if the White Sox finally put it together, right? Like they're kind of sitting under the radar. The Mariners, the Orioles are getting really hot. Like the Guardians, there's a lot of these teams kind of just sitting around like, if they
and Rico, I mean the Mets getting DeGrom back, they can easily be in that mix as well.
Yeah, well,
I mean, in my opinion, they pretty much already are. I mean, they're right there.
Yeah, that's the thing is they're already 4 in the power rankings, you know. So, but yeah, that leapfrogs them like they could be astronomical. Carl, what's your point? Go ahead.
Cardinals, Brewers, Twins, teams that you just these are very solid teams that nobody's going to talk about. But I mean, I shouldn't say nobody's going to talk about, but. Don't shortchange them. If Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa stay healthy, the Twins team is going to be very difficult to beat in the playoff series.
Big time. And if you win that division, you're hosting, your home series, which is big. The Twins are kind of cursed, but I would place the future right now.
It's hard to sell me on the Twins in the playoffs.
100%. I get it.
Sure, I get it. Yeah,
but at least hosting.
But listen, everybody doesn't get over the hump until they do.
Right.
And I don't think those Twins teams ever have ever played the Yankees with Buxton or a guy like Correa. I know Mauer and Morneau are legit and all that stuff.
I think they're pitching. I think they're starting pitching better this year too.
Yeah. I would play. I think we talked about on Pick Central. Ben Mintz was like, "Who would you take a look at on a flyer?" The Cardinals, I think, are at what? Did it say like?
It was. I think it was 22 or 28 to 1, something like that. I think maybe 28 to 1.
You give me a top 10 team, a place that again can make a move. That's who I would look at. We talked about the All-Star game. Guys get snubbed, right? We decided, hey, you know what these guys usually do when you go get snubbed is get a couple of fuck you hits. So we added a bonus hit parade today. We have our original hit parade. We'll close the show. 3 guys who got snubbed. The one, I don't know, Freddie Freeman is the first. So we'll add him in. Ev, you kind of been the Braves expert. You want to talk about the other guy?
Who is it, Duvall?
Austin Riley.
Riley. I was going to say Riley. I mean, no, the guy's a monster. He's also one of those guys. I think he might have started the year a little slow, but he's been on an absolute tear. I mean, he's just a big power hitter. I mean, he's a middle of the lineup guy for one of the best lineups in baseball. I mean, honestly, this year's just been deep with talent. There was a lot of pitchers that I thought didn't get in, like Cease. I thought not making it was a big surprise. And who was the last guy in the one that in our snub today?
Well, I was going to give that to Carl. Yeah, Ty France. He's got Ty France. So I figured.
And Ty France came out on record and was like, "Yes, it's disappointing." I like that a lot. He's not sitting there going, "Well, next year, this year." He's like, "No." Like, yeah, I absolutely thought that I'd.
Here's a weird question. Do they at the end of the year shouldn't they announce an all-star team as well?
Yeah, like
because these guys are really only first.
There should be an all-pro.
No,
there should be an
all-pro and the gold gloves come out at the end, but there is no all-pro.
Yeah, there is no.
Well, I'll tell you what, boys. How about this? Hot Ice, first ever all-pro hot ice team. Nobody's ever done it before.
Got it.
Okay, brought to you by Rico's Mustache, which will be here in October.
Yeah,
well, a 3-man council.
It's weird though. It's weird though, right? Because like when you talk about a guy like for Hall of Fame consideration, it's like, oh yeah, he was a 14-time All-Star. Well, in 3 or 4 of those years, he wasn't a full-term All-Star. He was a half-year All-Star. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be a better way to do this. And I know you're not playing the All-Star game after everybody just played 162 games. Like let's face it, it's not how it's going to work. You need
Rico,
to
no one's ever complained about this. I love this idea of yours because I think you're right. It's like, oh, this guy was an all-star. It's like all an all-star selection means is a good first half.
Yeah, because everybody in the NBA too is going to say, well, they do the All-Star game in the NBA halfway through. But if you know, don't they do all league teams have at the end of the year?
First, second,
First
third.
team All NBA, second team All NBA. Like so we do follow through. Baseball's got to follow that through with second halves.
Those lazy fucks. As soon as the World Series is over, the writers go home. I'm sick of the Baseball Writers Association. All they do is hold guys like me and White Sox State back. As long as we've been associated with Barstool, the writers are out to get us. And now that you bring this up, Rico, I just have another thing to add to the list of why I absolutely despise, detest, and hate baseball writers, especially the ones that belong to that stupid fucking association. I'm sorry.
I'm going to do a hot take. I'm going to start following these reporters around. I don't think they watch the playoffs, Carl, to your point. I think the regular season ends. If their team gets eliminated, they're watching mid-season MAC and betting on the Barstool Sportsbook. I don't even think they watch the playoffs.
Because you know what? They're pulling double duty now at a lot of these print paces. Hey, you got to cover the Dolphins now. Stop, put the pen down on the Marlins. That's why nobody hears about Sandy Alcantara. I mean, listen, we could go on and on and on about this, but I really do blame the over investment in the high capital and structure of print journalism. But back to you, Rico.
This was always a fun time growing up. We'll end on this because it's my dad who's a fucking mental patient. Right around now is always a funny time when the fantasy channel on Sirius started to switch to football. He's like, hey, I'm still in mid-season. We got the mock drafts coming out, so baseball just gets completely back burner, gone. And then the other one that was always funny was at 9:59. He used to turn on ESPN for Baseball Tonight, and my God, if there was a hockey game on, he was ready to fucking murder somebody. This motherfucking hockey, every fucking game is in the playoff. I want to watch Baseball Tonight. It's wild. And he's like, and look again, no score. It's like, all right, Dad. Like, it was just ramblings of him. It was like Mad Max in Wolf of Wall Street. Like, he's a fucking maniac. So. That's what it is. I haven't given out a dog in a month. I'm hitting best bets left and right. I cannot give out a dog. I think I'm on an 0-9, 0-10 streak with a ton of guys like close. So I got to keep burying myself in the order. If you guys have a dog, Carl, who's your dog? Let's get a plus sign. Let's try to get this fucking going.
Yeah, I hit my last one, and it was a spot against the Dodgers. That was great. We're going to go back to the well here. We do like the Cardinals plus 130. This is a juicy number. I don't know, man. It's just like a time, like I've said before, this is a week the Cardinals usually play very well the week before the All-Star game, so we're just going to take them again. It's just like ride a hot hand. We like the Cardinals on this show a little bit.
Yep.
Love the Cardinals.
I mean, I hate them, but we're not here this ain't about what I care about when I was a young boy. It's about being sharp with the freaking numbers.
He got game, Carl. Are you a boy or a man? Men make decision with their heart. Boys make decision with their heart. Men make decision with their mind. Yeah. Ev, perfect segue to you. A man among men. A man among men who dominate other men to open the door for them on a drive home.
Best bet today, or not best bet. Dog of the day, boys. I'm going with the White Sox here. I think this line's a little big. I think it's a little. So the White Sox are plus 140 in Minnesota. The pitching matchup is. They got Cueto on the bump, who's sneaky having a very, very, very good season. Sub-3 ERA. Listen, Twins are coming back with Sonny Gray, who I despise because he didn't have what it takes to pitch in the big market in New York. But I mean, pretty relatively even pitching matchup. Both having good seasons. I'm surprised this number's this big. I get the Twins are at home. I don't see why it's 140. I just think it's a big number for Cueto on the mound. I like the White Sox plus 140. That's the dog of the day.
Okay. I'm going to go with a team that's been pretty good to me, and I'm going to give a couple of stats that are sneaky that you wouldn't think of. I'm going to take the Rockies plus 115. Blake Snell versus Kyle Freeland. If you park in the outfield at this game, I think it's at your own risk because you are looking at some balls smashing through your fucking windshield. Rockies at home at Coors, obviously they're a little bit better there. How about this, guys? The Rockies are 7-3 this year against the Padres. In the first two games, they scored 0 runs and 1 run. Since then, 6, 4, 10, 5, 8, 5, 5, 10. They might have the number. They just might have the number on the Padres. We talk about the Padres being a little kind of overvalued. I'm going to go with the Rockies 7-3 against the Rockies. Against the Padres at home. Give me the Rockies. I'll roll the dice with that. Best bets. Ev, let's whip it to you. Who do you got for a best bet?
I'm gonna go with a team that's been pretty good to me as of late. I'm going with the Rays here. I think I got minus 134 this morning. They're at home. We talked about it, I think, when we first started the show. What's the first thing you look at picking these games? Starting pitching. Clear, big time pitching edge here with Drew Rasmussen on the mound. I'm kind of surprised. This is another two. I'm surprised the line's so. I'm surprised it's 130. I would think this would be 150, 160 with the pitching matchup. Also, even though the Trop is a total shithole, I don't know if you guys have been there. I think it's the worst, by far the worst ballpark I've ever been to. They're tough to beat there. The Rays are tough to beat at the Trop, minus 134. I just think this is a good price, a good line, all things considered. Rays minus 134.
Carl.
Sorry, I had to mute my mic because we got a guy upstairs because all this Pete just sends people in here whenever he wants in Chicago. Just come in here, cutting pipes, saws, you name it. It's a great bet, Ev. I looked at the Rays. I like the Rays. And then to your point, Rico, I do very much like the Rockies. It's nothing against Blake Snell. He's a good guy. We had an interview with Charlie Blackmon on Starting Nine, and he talked about why it's hard to pitch at Colorado, and it fits Blake Snell's profile. And I don't want to get too deep into it, but I really, really, really like that bet, Rico. Okay, my best bet, when I wake up in the morning and I scroll the lines and I scroll the pitching matchups, I dream of a situation like this. I'm going out to the Bay. I got Carlos Rodon versus Corbin Burns in a pitching matchup from hell. I'm taking the under 6.5.
I was wondering if we
2-1, 2-0, 1-0, 3-1. I guarantee you guys this game's over in an hour and 36 minutes. It's going to be – this is as good as it gets for me to watch a game on TV.
Yeah, this is big, and it's late too, right? So you can watch, you take care of whatever you got to take care of, and then you watch that.
But you're not up late because they're just going to be throwing bullets, man.
Yeah. I wonder if this is going to get
ninth inning.
I wonder if this is going to get to 6. I really do.
Get it now at 6.5.
I know. Yeah, it's what we talked about all the time.
I almost took the Giants. I was close.
Yeah. We talk about pitching matchups. This one's. I'll be honest. When I looked this up, I was actually kind of amazed. The Washington Nationals are the second least strikeout team in the bigs. Yeah, they have the second least.
Soto and Bell in the middle will do that, I think.
Yeah, they strike out the least. So, but with that said, I'm going to go with Kyle Wright over 4.5 Ks minus 118. He's a strikeout guy, 103 in 103 innings. In 12 of his 17 starts, he's got over 5. There's been times he puts up 8, he puts up 9. Getaway day. I'm going to roll with it. The Braves have been really hot. I think Kyle Wright can dial in and get this going. It's one of those where it's my best bet, and you worry about it a little bit, but, we'll grind out a winner. I think the Nationals also at a ton of times can check out, so he can go get 3 in 2 innings, and then you're just kind of hoping for the rest of the way. So we'll see. I really do hate the Nationals. I think they've completely checked out.
It's a good bet, Rico. I'm going through the lines right now.
It's grinding. It's grinding.
It's like it's a very good bet.
Yeah, so we talked about. So we got the hit parade with the All-Star snubs, the chip on the shoulder, we're calling that. Ty France, Freddie Freeman, and Austin Riley. For the regular hit parade, talk about covering windshields. Have any of those balls that Daniel Murphy hit in Chicago landed yet? I like that. You like that. You didn't see that one coming.
No, I know, but you know what? A lot of people do this to me where they think they can talk shit to me about the Cubs, and it's like, you don't understand, pal. All right, we won that World Series. I've hung out with. I've gotten what I want. I could go right off into the sunset and never have to watch another Cubs game for the rest of my life, and I'm delighted as a Cubs fan.
He's like Avery's grandfather, Ev, in the Garden, holding up the sign. Now I could die happy.
Exactly.
When the Rangers
it's all good.
It's all good.
I'm ready to go.
Playing with house money.
Exactly. That always cracks me up too. Sorry, we got to get into the hit parade, but that always cracks me up too. Like, unfortunately, somebody's grandfather probably died right after the Cubs, or like, their old man, like, and they were like, at least they saw, like, they're sitting at the funeral and they're like, that eulogy was like, at least they saw the Cubs. Like,
when everybody's laughing, it's like, oh yeah, you just waited, you just waited.
That's always a joke too. My dad would, like, when a famous celebrity dies, he goes, hey, poor, who the fuck, like, I don't know, like an old celebrity, whatever. He's like, got tired of waiting for the Jets to win a Super Bowl. He goes, couldn't wait for it. Like, I'm like, that's some dark humor, but that's what it is. With that said, Mets have been hot. Brandon Nimmo's been hot. I'm putting Brandon Nimmo in Wrigley in this one. Ev, who are you putting in for the hit parade?
Back to the well. It's unfortunate it got canceled the other day because JD had to sit out. I went to him the other day. He had a couple hits. I'm going back. Mr. Paul Goldschmidt. You sit your watch to him. That's what he does. He gets hits. Perfect for the hit parade. Bada bing, bada boom. Lock him in.
Carl, round us out.
I'm taking Jose Altuve, who last night went 0 for 3 with 2 punchies. And that's the first time he went hitless with multiple strikeouts. Well, that's the first time he went hitless in July. That's the first time he's had multiple strikeouts in a while. He's going to be good tonight. We got the Angels on the other side throwing that weak, soft lefty.
Detmers is getting smoked.
Yeah, just a couple.
There's been a few times where we get 2 out of 3, and the team that we bet on has 9 runs, and our guys walked 4 times. What was it, Alvarez mostly?
Yeah, the one time I had Jordan Alvarez, he walked 3 times.
Killed.
We've been nailing it. Yeah, that's so. All right, so the 2 hit parades are up. Obviously, heading into the All-Star break, enjoy the weekend. Let's do a little roasting call. What do you think of the hat tan line? Tough, right? So
Mine's bad too.
I don't give a fuck. I'll tell you right now. I don't give a fuck. I will spoil. Pete came by and I was like, Pete, you want to know who won the tournament? And he's like, I'd really rather not know. I said, well, I'm going to tell you who won. The fucking Sun. The Sun won the fucking mini golf tournament yesterday. It defeated everyone.
Hot day?
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's a grind.
Scorcher.
Yeah, early call time too. Early call time. Had to be at the Hamptons super early.
Well, not if you got picked up by the valet in Hoboken. You got pampered.
That was only on the way back service. I was at the office for a bus at 5:30.
No, it was at your house, opening the door. Don't be pulling that shit with me. So, all right,
Rico was on here to give me a wake-up call.
Yeah, exactly.
He had to wake up at 4 just to wake me up.
Yeah, breakfast in bed, fucking guy. That's how it goes. All right, that's hot ice. We're heading into a great All-Star break. We're going to have something cooked up Tuesday, the hit parade. We'll probably try to cook up a hit parade for the All-Star game. It's going to be difficult with guys subbing in, subbing out. We'll take a look at MVPs.
Big odds, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Big odds.
I'll just start hammering Westy. Maybe we get some lines in that softball game, which is pre-recorded, which I know is impossible, but I don't care. Give me Jenny Finch strikeouts over in the fucking softball game.
Boo! One of my enemies.
Oh,
Jenny Finch is on the Barstool Chicago list. I'm going to tell you a quick story here real quick. All right, I went to college with a girl who played professional softball for the Chicago Bandits. She was an All-American in Illinois, Danielle Zimkowitz. Great girl. Okay. And so we're out at Wrigley having a couple pops. I run into her, and she's like, hey, yeah, congrats on Barstool. We should do a video sometime. I said, I work with a guy named White Sox Dave. He's always chirping. You got to have a pitcher on the staff that we can match up with. What are you saying? She goes, we'll get him against Jenny Finch. So we just go on social, start running our mouths. This is back in 2017, 18. We just start running our mouths. Jenny Finch, this and that. White Sox Dave and I show up to Jenny Finch Day at the Chicago Bandit Stadium. 5,000 girls. Everybody's out there. Dads. They bring the whole team. School buses. I mean, the whole place is loaded. And Jenny Finch is supposed to pitch to White Sox Dave in the middle of the 4th inning. She backs out that day. She backs out that day, says can't pitch. She takes one look at White Sox Dave. She says, I don't want a piece of his bat speed. Shit you not. They bring out their starting pitching for the opposing team. She was a first-team All-American, first-round draft pick out of SEC, Kentucky Player of the Year. Just unbelievable player. She gassed White Sox Dave. She K'd him. I'll send you guys a video. It's a full YouTube video. It's one of the funniest things he's ever done. White Sox Dave, and to this day, we will not forgive Jenny Finch for backing out of the we went for a challenge, and then Jenny Finch saw us and said no. Saw the White Sox Dave said no challenge, White Sox Dave.
And this was soft. She did the windmill softball.
Bro, this was full. Dave got in front of. I'm telling you, this girl's bringing it. 77, 78, little bow tie right here.
Yeah.
And that's the 45-foot mound as well. 46-foot mound, correct?
Correct.
That thing's coming in hot. That thing is coming in hot.
Now, what was Dave's excuse? That he's used to playing baseball?
It's tough to pick up, man. I mean, we went in there knowing it was going to be a challenge. I did a home run.
Did he complain about the batter's eye? What was his complaint? What was his spin zone?
His spin zone, honestly, if you strike out White Sox Dave, he doesn't have a spin zone, man. Like that's like the purest form of Dave you can get is like you go into battle against him, who, by the way, against Dallas Braden, Dave got like the game-tying RBI in the first ever Red Line Radio versus starting 9 Cornfield game, which is another video I'll send you guys. I'm telling you, the base, but this is the time to be telling these stories in the calendar.
I love it.
I'm fired up.
No, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Let's win some bets today, boys.
Let's do it.
Fucking bets.
Put some parlays together. We'll screenshot the parlays. We'll sweep the fucking board. Let's get it going. That's hot ice. Enjoy the weekend. We got the All-Star game coming next week. Second half is going to get here fast. Things that we talked about. Everybody's in contention. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. Bet the Hit Parade. We'll get that for you ASAP. Enjoy it, boys.
Love you guys.